Hey there, Wargamers. Austin here with Brush for Hire along with Chris, and today we are joined by Leif Paulson. Leif, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us why you are so important and cool?
Well, I'm not that important. I'm one of the development team. I'm currently working on developing the rules for Wrath of Kings, but I'm not the only one. So a lot of people when they hunt the Kickstarter, they'll see me on there answering questions and things like that, and they think that this is my game entirely. But there's been cool minis, a whole company of people working together from our production people as well as the rest of the design team. I'm working with Michael Chanel and others. So I am one of the game designers. I'm currently revising a lot of the current rule sets for our new miniature game that we're just Kickstartering right now. We're in our last week, and it's called Wrath of Kings. It's a high fantasy, high magic world, and it's a lot of fun. So I've been demoing it at Gen Con, at Dragon Con. Austin here came along and gave it a go and asked to do a little interview, give you guys some inside scoop on what's happening here.
Awesome. Well, Chris and I have been looking at the whole model range, which is expanding quickly, but before our eyes on the Kickstarter, we have backed the heck out of it and gotten some of every faction and a bunch of the expansion stuff, and really excited to see the finished products coming off the line. We did get a chance to sit through a demo, and I lost valiantly, but had a great time doing it. And it was really streamlined. It was an easy game to pick up. For a variety of reasons, and just a stunning miniatures range. It's really great looking stuff. We were fortunate enough to get our hands on some. You were gracious enough to give us a handful of things, and we've really been very impressed with the quality of the miniatures. Even though these are the inferior quality resin to the super awesome plastic that you guys are getting ready to produce. So if this is the bad stuff, we can't wait to see what comes next. So.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you guys for backing it. That goes to everybody out there that's backing the project. This is a main title that we're really looking at developing and putting a lot of we put a lot of time and effort into it over the past couple of years. Cool Mini's been developing this game for a long time, and so we're really excited to finally get it to the Kickstarter phase. There's been like I said, a lot of hands in it. It hasn't just been me. I'm here working on it at the moment, and along with other designers and stuff like that. We're tweaking it, and we're planning stuff, a year out from now as far as models and releases and things like that. While we're still doing the Kickstarter, but this is going to be for those that haven't really seen it. I would suggest going to the Kickstarter page, looking at that. I'm sure there will be a link available.
Absolutely.
But it's a skirmish-based game. And the real key that we were trying to keep with this game is what you already mentioned, which is that streamlined combat system. We're trying to keep the game moving very, very quickly because, to be honest, most of the time people don't have 4 hours to devote to a miniature game like 10 years ago. People want quick games that they can snap through in an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that with their friends. And that's what we're aiming for with this system, but to still have it very tactically sound. So it isn't just a watered down miniature game that you can you don't take serious. There's a lot of tactical decisions still going on, but the speed of the game really comes from the single die roll system. So which you guys have experienced firsthand.
I have 2 quick questions for you, real quick, if I could jump in. Maybe.
Yeah.
One would be more faction specific, and then the second one is if you could expound a little bit for our viewers about the morale system that you introduced at the beginning. Is you even in all the information regarding the Shao Han, it always talks about their relying on their specialists. But I was curious because I didn't see too much in that in the rules I got. If you could maybe expound on that just briefly.
Okay, so. Shalhan, that's a great faction. That's probably the faction I'm going to end up playing just because I love their miniature line. But all the factions are great. So one of the interesting things about this game is, as I said, a skirmish game. It's a true skirmish-based game that every model can move independently. They can do anything on their own. There's no such thing as squad cohesion. And some of the units, the infantry units, rely on leaders for benefit. They'll do combined activations. The exception to this are specialists. Specialists always move on their own, act independently. Well, in Shellhan, their play mechanic is based around having particular specialists or a variety of specialists to access additional abilities. So normally you would need a leader for the infantry to get buff, but with Shellhan, they get additional buffs from their specialists, which are these larger, more powerful models. And that's played off of what's called their enlightenment mechanic, enlightenment and insight. So the specialists will have this ability called insight, and it'll have a radius. And as long as any models with enlightenment are within that radius, they will gain that benefit, and they stack. So if you have more than one specialist, they're kind of like a layer army. So you want to have your line troops in front and then stack a bunch of specialists behind them, and then they get to be very, very powerful.
Okay. And I noticed particularly when the leader models use their Inspire rule, and if for those who are curious, you can download all these stat cards to see what we're talking about on their Kickstarter. The Inspire, does it have a radius, or is it basically he says it and then all the models that fall under his category get the rule?
Yeah, so there's also a radius for the leaders as well. That's called their sphere of influence, which is generically 6 inches for all leaders. When you do your army construction, you'll choose one leader to be your commander, and his sphere of influence is increased by 2 inches. So that'll go up to 8. And basically they can, when he does the Inspire ability, when he okay, I have to be careful when I'm saying this, because when I'm saying doing this Inspire ability, it sounds like that's an action or something that can be used up. Inspire is a passive trait that the leader has that he passes on to all of the infantry of that particular type, including himself. So when you do a combined activation, as long as they're within the range at the beginning of that combined activation, within that 6 or 8 inches, they get that benefit. And he can do that over and over and over again. So if there's, say, 6 models and they're within 6 inches, 5 additional models plus himself, and you want to activate 3 of them, they would gain that benefit, and then you could do a follow-up and activate another 3. So it's a little bit more difficult to explain without the
models
here in front of me. Yeah,
sure.
If I have the models sitting in front of me, I can pan my screen down and show you, and then draw a little radius and so on and so forth. But I didn't really think about doing that, but that's basically how it works. So leaders act as this passive buff, and then in Shellhan, that insight radius as well, the aura as we call it, is also a passive buff that is delivering that as well.
Okay, that's really neat.
Very cool.
Yeah, I hope so. We're revising all of the rules right now, so as you've already said, the rule sets are up, the cards are all up for free, and they're always going to be for free in PDF online, so if you don't want to buy the rules, you never have to. But we're updating them, making sure everything's in place. So with Shellhan, it's probably one of the more difficult factions to play, as you have to have very strong tactical layering about where models are positioned
and which ones to take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as you said, the range is expanding very quickly. We have a lot plotted out for it, and it's something that we're going to continuously deliver on. This is going to be one of our flagship titles, is our plan, and the idea is the range is going to grow and grow and grow. So there will be more and more specialists. So Shellhan's diversity will become more powerful as that goes, and you'll really be able to take the specialists to complement whatever your playstyle. If you want to play something more aggressive, you'll get more aggressive abilities. If you want to play something a little bit more defensive, you'll be able to do that as well.
So back to a more generalized question.
Sure.
You've got huge companies like Games Workshop who have on the record said, we are a miniatures company who also makes a game to go with our miniatures. which ends up in reality just meaning that they are shrugging off some of the responsibility for keeping their game balanced to the nth degree so that it can be fairly played in a tournament setting. I see that you guys are aiming for a shorter time duration on your game. Is that indicative of the fact that you are aiming to make this a fully balanced, tournament-ready type game? And what kind of support are you planning to give that in the future? Are you going to be constantly updating the rules to keep things balanced as more releases come out?
Yes, absolutely. That is actually you've nailed it right on the head. That we are using this game specifically to generate miniature tournament play. The miniatures are beautiful, as you said. So people that just want to paint and collect can certainly do that and enjoy the game, or enjoy it casually with their friends too. And we built in smaller game sizes for just low. How can I say this? Like low level play, right? Like you just want to get together with your buddies and have a couple beers.
Yeah, just casual play.
Yeah, casual play. But this game is being designed specifically with tournament play in mind. Hence the reason that we're going with the short gameplay experience of an hour and a half. At the largest size, which is currently called Battle in the rulebook, you're fielding maybe 40 miniatures on each side of the table, and that expected gameplay experience is about an hour and a half. Maybe 2 hours if you're pushing it. And with that type of speed in a game, you can run a tournament at your local gaming store or at larger conventions and things like that, and do Swiss rounds and things like that. So that is something that we're absolutely looking forward to producing. I'm actually currently writing the tournament format rules, campaign rules as well for more casual play, as you said.
Right.
But our main goal is to make this a tournament game that people will be playing, and there's always a balance issue. That's part of our strategy for making the rule sets free. Is that you don't constantly have to buy some sort of new book for your army. That isn't our intention. We're selling you amazing models, and we're giving you the game system to play for free, effectively, right? Like if you don't like the models but you like the system, you could just take the system and play with some proxied models or something like that using your own things. But the tournament format's really where it's going to be at, and I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm actually the one writing the rules at the moment on that. So,
cool. So
I'm very, very happy with the way that's going on.
On the note of official tournament play, do you guys have any specific plans in mind as of yet to actually have officially run and sanctioned Cool Mini or not tournaments at any of the major venues throughout the year, whether that's Adepticon, Gen Con, Dragon Con, any of those?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, obviously, right now we're in the Kickstarter.
Right.
So our focus has been on that. However, once that closes and we are basically at the delivery point, we'll begin announcing where we're going to have our major tournaments. I believe Gen Con is for sure one of the places where we'll be running a major tournament. I'm not quite sure where else, because I'd have to speak with our event coordinator to see what's going to be possible. But I think the ultimate plan, is to make the game tournament playable and have it out for all the major tournaments. Like, I think Adepticon would be great. I think
it's not going to be quite out in time for that, though, is it? Or is it?
Our expected delivery time is May of next year, so I think
it'll be a very short window to get everything painted.
Yeah. It's just not going to be possible. I think for Adepticon next year, but Gen Con, there's a couple months there. People can prepare. They can learn, and they can have local practice with their friends and things like that. So I think that's going to be a possibility. And then from then on, it's going to be increasing. So we're going to have, by the time the game releases, we're going to have tournament rules out. So you can run it at your local gaming store. You can play with your buddies, and it'll be set up for the tournament structure, so it's all explained. How the tournament should be run, you know, how everything should be, basically. So that rule set will be available, and then we also will be organizing major play as well. So that is absolutely the plan. We're really excited about that. And then there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff too. There'll be scenarios and campaigns. Yeah. We're experimenting with a lot of different ideas with that, about having regular updates accompanied with model releases with interesting ways to play that as well. So there are some other things that I'm very excited about, but unfortunately I can't tell you about
That's
yet.
fine.
When it comes closer, I will Skype you guys and say, hey, you know, we've got this amazing format coming out. There's something that we're going to be bringing, hopefully, to the table that no other miniature company has done before, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that'll be about a year down the line.
Okay, I can't wait to see it. I hope we get an exclusive.
You have to remember this promise.
Yes.
That I'm giving you now, that we're going to bring something really, really awesome, specifically with this game. So.
Well, I'm sure it will be. You guys have an amazing track record with these games, and I'm sure that we can expect awesome things from this game. So let's talk about the Kickstarter for a second. You were talking about roughly the size of the game that is going to be a typical gameplay, all the way up to the biggest size that you would typically see in a game, taking an hour and a half to 2 hours. How does that mesh up with what some of the backers of at least getting a starter box of a faction, or even the big was it Ancient King, where you get some of everything? What would you is that representative of what each person would need, or is it way beyond, or are you still looking for a few things past that? Just for those who are looking to pledge, what should they be aiming for?
To pledge accordingly, yeah. That's a great question. Basically, if you look within the PDF document that's available via the Kickstarter, there's some links, and we even have a little mini website up that specifically has an area that points you to that correct link. When you scroll down, you look at the game sizes. It tells you. So let me rewind a little bit. This game does not work on a point-buy system. Unlike other miniature games where they assign values to the miniatures based off of
their ability
number, right? Like it's a 50-point model or a 100-point model or a 10-point model, whatever it is. There isn't anything like that. So in this system, what we have is it is just an army organization. So we'll tell you how many slots for leaders you have, how many slots for infantry, and for specialists.
Okay.
And then you'll have optional, which are either more infantry or more specialists.
Okay.
So at the largest level of the game, you'll have, I believe it's, I'm trying to remember right off the top of my head, I think it's 7 slots for leaders. It's, I want to say, 36 infantry, and then it's 4 slots of either 4 specialists, and then 4 optional slots of it's 1 per option for specialists, or it's 3 infantry. So you can get another 12 infantry, or you get 4 specialists, or like 2 and 6 or something like that. So in this, I think it's maybe 24. I think it's 24 4, and then optional 4 with 7 leaders. It's either 24 or 36. I just can't.
It's all right. I'm sure that it is very well documented in the PDF.
And it's also something that we're making sure that those numbers are correct at the game size scales. So when you have those numbers, it tells you what you can bring to the table. When you get to say an Ancient King, you're getting each of the factions, and you're getting, currently I believe it is with like Shelhan, for instance, you'll get, because we've hit a bunch of our stretch goals already, you're getting 12 of each of the infantry type basic, plus we threw in 6 additional. So you got half as much more for free. So you already had 18. And then you are also getting, generically, you're getting 3 rank 1 leaders for both of those groups. So right there, if you wanted to jump into the large with just one of those faction boxes, whether it's one starter or you bought the Ancient King, gotten all 5, you can basically play that largest level. You do have to field both of the infantry types, but if you feel like you want to play Xiaohan, for instance, and you really like the Dragon Legionnaires, and you don't really like the Wrath, or you like the Wrath and you don't like the Dragon Legionnaires, you probably want to buy an extra couple boxes of that, and then you can fill out your army with that in particular. We're also allowing you to mix and match, so if you're getting more than one of the faction starters, you can choose. Let's say that you're getting the Ancient King, you really like Xiaohan, and your buddy really likes Hadros. You could get 2 Xiaohan, 2 Hadros, and then 1 of something else, and there you go. You've got everything that you'll need to play the largest level of the game. With the exception of some of the rank 2 specialists and things like that. People have nicknamed them the monsters because they're the bigger models, like and Blood Engine and so on and so forth.
Right. But those are also available through the Kickstarter currently.
Yeah, currently those are just add-ons. So, but we're giving them at a fantastic price.
Yes.
They're like half of MSRP.
Yeah, I think what are they going for, $20 instead of $35 or something like that? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like our strategy here is to get the game going with an active player base, people that are invested in the game and want to play it, rather than a lot of other. That's the advantage of Kickstarter, right? It allows us to crowdsource, funding of the game, but at the same time, it allows a bunch of people all get the product at the same time. Then they can start working on playing things like that. Whereas other miniature games, you kind of had to leak it into the store slowly, start collecting a player base and things like that. So,
one thing I noticed particularly with y'all, from what I was reading through the models, is can you explain the rank system real quick and how they take up the points? And will we possibly see generic rank 2 leaders anytime soon? Because I think the only ones right now are named characters.
Yeah. So in this game, there's when I was talking about the slots, I was just referring to rank 1. So the generic rank and file, whether it's infantry or leaders or specialists, are often rank 1, and that's indicated on their card. And there's also rank 2 models. Eventually there will be more than rank 2, but rank 2 basically take up twice the number of slots. So if you had 7 slots, you could take 3 rank 2 leaders and rank 1, or 4 and 3, something like that. The advantage of taking rank 2 is that they're more powerful. They're generically just stronger. The downside, of course, though, is it's fewer models that you're fielding. So if your enemy takes them out, it's a little bit more of a crippling blow to you. Additionally, that can affect your morale, because I think I kind of glossed over the morale question a little bit earlier, and I might have to rewind to that a little bit. So it's a morale-based game, and what that means is for every 3 models that you bring to the table, as well as the ranks and leaders that you have, you get 1 point morale. The whole point of the game is to drive your enemy to 0 morale, and in doing so, you'll win the game immediately. And so the number of models you field is actually important to what your longevity in the game is. So that's part of the tactical decision right in army construction is you can take more powerful models, but you have less of them. So if you start taking a lot of casualties, you have not been playing the stronger models as well as you could, and unfortunately are going to be routed from the table. If you are playing the more horde style, where there's just a whole boatload of guys on the table, and you're not going for the larger, more expensive models, you'll have a little bit more wherewithal, but they'll also have a more difficult time taking down the enemy's larger models and things like that as well.
So essentially, the number of models you bring to the table is going to directly affect the amount of morale you start the game with. Is that what I'm understanding?
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
So, but it's meant to be balanced out. So,
sure.
Just because I have a lower starting morale doesn't mean that I am destined to lose the game, right? I have more wounds on my models, that they don't die as easily, and things like that as well too. So they do not have an inherent advantage. It's just
Right.
the play style.
It's just you've put your strengths and weaknesses in different places. So
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
I think there was another. What was the? That was like a multi-part question that I asked. I think. I forgot. Well,
I answered it all. I might have been dancing around.
Yeah. Can we possibly expect rank 2 generic leaders as well, or is the higher rank going to be tied to more named characters? Because I've noticed most of the higher stuff outside of the dragon and the blood engines and stuff is rank 1s.
No, the plan is that there will be rank 2 models that are generic, that are not characters. So you touched on the idea of characters. So characters in this game are specifically models that you can only have one of. The reason that we do this is we can give those models an ability that we don't want spammed on the table.
Yeah.
We give them more interesting, more unique, or even more powerful abilities in some cases, but they do not get to repeat, just I'm going to take 12 of these type of abilities, and that's going to be my army. So we will have rank 2 models that are generic and things like that. Right now with the initial release, we're using the rank 2s primarily as characters.
Okay.
Because we're giving those abilities. But there will be more powerful units in the future that will just be rank 2, infantry leaders and specialists as well.
I got another quick question that popped into my head, and let's see if I can recover it. Fumble.
If you can't think of it, I've got something.
All right, you go first while I write my stuff down.
All right. So depending on the company of the game that you play, it determines what kind of release schedule you can look forward to. While Infinity, you see a few models for every faction come out every month. Games Workshop saves up all of the stuff for one faction and releases it at a time. Do you guys have a release model that you've settled on yet? Is that still up in the air as far as how you plan to inject new models into the game as it progresses?
No, that's a great question. That's still being worked out exactly what our release schedule is going to be. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason that's in flux is because of the Kickstarter. So we don't know how much we are currently dedicating to the Kickstarter that needs to be out, and then what our release schedule is going to look like that afterwards. We're going to correspond to. But our idea is not going to be these big lapses for a single faction.
Right.
Our idea is to make it more equal amongst them. So when you would see a release, either it will be on a cycle where you will see something for Shalhan, then you'll see something for Hadros and Gritzi, or whatever the order may be, and then it'll repeat, but they'll be much more frequent. So everybody's getting something, or we'll do all 5 factions. I believe the plan is to do some smaller releases, and then we'll do a big end
wave 2.
Release. Yeah, there'll be a wave 2, so everybody will get a lot, but there will be smaller releases for all of them.
Okay.
And whatever the order that may come along, it'll continue in that. So that way, when it comes to the tournament schedule from year to year, there isn't any inherent benefit for playing
the thing that just got the new big release.
You're not going to get the power creep that you'll see in some other miniature games, where the newest rule set is the most powerful. We're trying to stay away from that and keep the balance very strong.
Right. I think that your just game design model is probably going to lend itself well to that, just because you've got free rules all the time. You've got you've got reference cards that'll come with the models, I assume. So that's one way of getting the actual physical copy of the rules into the player's hands.
Yes, that's correct.
So I think that'll work well. I'm glad to hear that you guys are going to do that.
My question was, you just posted some new rank 1 infantry, but we have no rules.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are asking about those.
Okay.
And we're working on them. We're trying to get those balanced out as best we can.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get those up by the end of the Kickstarter, so that way people can see the rules are. But our big rule set, excuse me, 1 second. Our big intention is to have all of those out as soon as we can. So even if we can't deliver them during the time frame of the Kickstarter, in the current moment, in the future, we plan on, having those out as soon as we can. So as you said, our model is all about having the rule sets available as often as possible. And when there's FAQs and there's updates, if we find that there's an imbalance in the game, we can change it on the fly, and you don't have to wait a year or two to see that response.
Yeah, definitely.
I have one last question about the Kickstarter, and that is, will folks who've already pledged now be able to adjust anything post the close of the Kickstarter, or is it going to be locked in place? I know that some folks have been using cart systems that allow you to adjust things afterwards, so if there's a big release right at the end, or something gets unlocked where you need to buy something to get a free something.
We always do, on the end of our Kickstarters, we always send out a pledge manager.
Okay.
Like a survey, right, that'll say you have pledged so much, and then allow additional add-ons at that time. So that will also be available for this as well.
Okay. I know that at the end, a lot of times that's when you get the feverish pledging.
It's not fair if you managed to get in the beginning, but you weren't keeping up with it. You just had responsibilities or whatever, and you missed right at the end to be able to add on. So we always like to make it as fair to everybody that they can add on more funds at the end of the Kickstarter.
All right, fantastic. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Chris?
I'm thinking up one right now. I had something. I got that one answered now.
You're pausing so long, you're going to have to make me edit it.
Oh, I'm sorry, mister. I got it. No, I really like the fact that you were going with the free rules thing, because that goes with that whole philosophy that I heard on somewhere else where someone was talking about, pirating, blah, blah, but if you make it free, then, it works out better for y'all. What was actually the thought process behind making the rules free?
That's actually part of our policy.
Okay.
So if you look at Dark Age, we already do that. So we actually have a free application that you can have unit cards for that skirmish game on, I believe it's iPhone. It's like an iOS app, and as those get updated, it's just a free application. You can always update those and see what's going on. The same thing's true with the PDFs that they're available online. We even do a redemption program with Dark Age, where if you buy a rulebook, a physical rulebook from Dark Age, and later down the line you want to, we release something that's got all of our new FAQ, it's got all of our new rule sets or more flavor or whatever, and you want the newer one because it has the newer rules. If you come to one of the conventions that we're at and we have that product, we will just do a free swap. So we will take your first edition Dark Age rulebook and give you the most current one.
I know what I'm doing at Adepticon.
Do you have any outdated books?
And so that's something that we do all the time, and that's also a plan for this as well. That you like you said, the game is, we try to make it as best we can, right? We try to make an awesome game system, and you're paying for these models to enjoy the game. You shouldn't have to pay for small updates and small rule changes and things like that. So we always want to make it free. A lot of people like to keep their books because there's some flavor that was in one that's not in the other, or some artwork or something like that. But we make it available, so that way if you just want the most current rule set, you can get that as well.
Okay, cool. Do you got any minis to show?
I unfortunately I'm working from home at the moment.
Okay.
I'm out of the office. I'm working remotely on some of the rules, so
very cool.
Cool.
I wish I had some awesome minis to present to you. What I can do is send you guys some high fidelity links of
awesome
pro painted models and plastics and things like that. You guys can see.
Yeah, if you would, we'd love to throw some of those right at the end of this video. So everybody, stay to the end, see some cool pictures here.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, I think we will go ahead and end our interview, but we want to thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us about this game. It looks amazing. Everybody go take a look at it. We're going to try to get this up and posted within a few days of the end of the Kickstarter, so please go check it out. It's Wrath of Kings. Just look for it on Kickstarter. It's fantastic. It's blowing through the roof right now. There's lots of awesome extras that you just can't pass up the price on this right now. So
you really can't.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, thank you to the customers for your support and rewarding everybody for doing that. You're supporting our games. We want to, as we've done with all of our other games, reward the players for what their investment, and that's our whole business strategy, right? Making games fun and affordable at the same time, and that's where we're going with Wrath of Kings. So awesome. I'm very happy to be part of the project. Thank you guys also for the interview as well. If in the future, when I have some cool updates, like when the game's actually out and stuff, I'd love to talk with you guys some more and keep you guys in the loop.
Fantastic.
Give you guys little teasers about the cool things that we're going to do.
Yes, we'll release whatever you let us release.
Exactly.
So
awesome.
All right.
And if the Kickstarter gets up to 500,000, Chris will do a show in a sundress.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. I'll hold you to
it. If the Kickstarter gets up to 500,000 or higher,
it's gonna happen, man. You better go shopping for sundresses.
600,000. If it gets that, I'll do the next show in a sundress
Fair enough.
I'll get from Goodwill.
Oh boy. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for pictures. And happy wargaming.